Question number 15. Additional Mathematics panel will organize seminar score for some of the students from class A and class B. The number of students in class A is X, number of students in class B is Y. Okay. The number of students selected is based on the following constraint. Okay, the first one they say is maximum number of students is 80. So what does that mean? It means total number from X plus the total number from Y will not exceed 80. It should be either 80 or less, right? Because maximum. So that means it's less than or equal to 80. Okay, that's the first equation. Second, the number of students from class B that exceeds the number of students from class A is less than 10. So if B exceeds A, that means we know that B is Y, right? So Y minus X, okay, because it exceeds, right? So Y minus X should be less than 10. That's what they said here. Okay, so that's the second equation. Third one, the minimum number of students from class B is 15. Minimum. So that means Y value cannot, minimum, that means cannot be less than 15. It should be either more than or equal to 15. Okay, so we already answered question A. They asked us to write the 3 inequalities. Okay, next they ask for using the scale 2 cm to 10 students on both axes, construct and shade the region R which satisfies all the above constraint. Okay, let's draw this graph. Alright, so before we draw our graph, we need our table first. Okay, so the first one here X, here Y. So we need our table first. Now because it is a straight line, we only need 2 points. So you always like to start with X0, Y0. So when X equals 0, this equation here, when X equals 0, Y equals to 80. When Y equals 0, X equals to 80. Okay, so that's the first one. Next, for this equation, same thing, we're going to do table X, Y. Okay, so usually, like I said, I like to do this 0, 0, but in this equation you can't do this because if I use 0 here, I'll get a negative value, right? My X will be negative 10. So I cannot use this because I won't be able to plot it on my graph, because the graph here, it says that X must be more than or equal to 0. Okay, so my X value cannot be negative value. So I can't use 0 on the Y axis. So let's say I use, I can just fill up any value so that I get a positive value. So I can do with 10. Okay, so when X is 0, Y is 10. If X is 10, Y is 20. Okay, so now we've got these two tables to plot two of this line. This line is very straightforward. There's no need table, so we can straight away plot that. So I've already drawn the graph down here, the scale. So the main thing here I want you all to notice is, because I don't have a graph, just make sure when you draw your graph, make sure you're following this. Every 2 cm is 10 students. So I'm actually following this. So you see here, I've got 10, 10, all the increment by 10. So here, my scale is correct, but the only thing is, it's not 2 cm because I don't have a graph. So when you draw your graph, please make sure you use every 2 cm, 10 students. Okay, so we're going to plot this graph now. So let us look back at the this table here. Okay, the first table we have 0, 80. 0, 80. Okay, let's see. 0, where is 0, 80? 0, 80 is here. Let me use a different color. 0, 80 is here. And then the next one is 80, 0. So it's here. Okay, so when we draw our line, it's going to be here. Okay, so the equation of this line should be, what's the equation again? X plus Y less than equal to 10, right? But I'm not going to do less than equal to, I just write the equation first. X plus Y equals to 80. Is it 80? I think it's 80, yeah. Yeah, correct. okay, but it's less than. Later when you want to shade time, you must know it's less than. And let's do the second one. Second one is x0, y10, x10, y20. Okay, so x0, y10 is here, x10, y20 is here. Okay, so this one is not going to be a straight line, it's going to be a dashed line because it is less than. Okay, please take note of that. If it's less than or more than, it's dashed line. If there is less than or equal to or more than or equal to, then only it's a straight line. So use your ruler and draw your dashed line. Okay, sorry I can't draw straight here, but you get my idea lah. Okay, so this is x minus, is it y minus x, right? Not x minus y. Y minus x equals to 10. Okay, but this one inequality is also less than, so it's supposed to shade downward. Both of these lines supposed to shade downward because it's less than. Next you have the third line, which is y equals to 15. That's the third range there. Y is 15. So we have y equals 15 should be here. Straight line 15. Okay, now this one is a straight line because it is more than or equal to. Okay, so this one, let me label here, y equals to 15. So where is the shaded area? Shaded area should be here, because they gave you one is what, y is more than equal to 15, right? So it should shade upward. So upward should be here lah. Okay, so now let's see, let me label here r. Okay, so here is r. So we're done with the second part. Now next question, it says that find the maximum number of students from class B. So class B is y value, right? So where is the maximum? Of course this point here would be the maximum, but we can't use that point because this is a dash line. Okay, it's a dash line, so we should not include that point. So we should go 1 point lower, so should be somewhere here. Okay, now because I'm not using a proper graph, so I don't think you'll get a correct answer here, but what I got from my actual graph is my y value. You should find your y value. You should just draw to find what's your y value, but my answer here is not accurate, so actual answer should be 44. You should get 44. Okay, so the y value, the maximum y value should be 44. Okay, maximum student from class B. Okay, you cannot feel like I'm losing my voice now, but anyway, you can't take 45. You will, I think if you choose this exact point, you will get 45, but you can't take 45 because this line is a dash line. It will not include that point, so you have to go 1 point lower, 1 unit lower. Okay, alright, so now next, all students that participate in the seminar have to pay a registration fee. Every student from class B has paid 4 ringgit deposit, while students from class A will make full payment on that day, that means on the seminar day. Calculate the balance payment that has to be paid by each student from class B. Okay, they only want to know balance payment for class B, such that number of students from class B is maximum and total collection from all students on that day, only on that day, is 400. So now this is the second part. So we have to find what's the maximum first. Okay, they said that B has to be maximum. So when B is maximum, that means, okay, your x value here, y value here. So when B is maximum, that means we already got from the previous answer here, it has to be 44 students. Okay, so what will be the x value? So when you find the maximum x students, it should be at this point. So you must find at where does it cross at the x part. Okay, but the answer that I got is 36. Okay, so that means there are 36 students. So that means when there is 44 students from class B, there will be 36 from class A. Okay, the maximum, all these are maximum. So what we know is that you want to form an equation for this. Okay, so the first, let's assume that full payment, let's assume it is let's assume K lah. We put a constant for it. Okay, K is a constant. So on that particular day, we know that a student from class A is going to pay maximum. So that means 36 students from class A, right, is going to pay maximum. So K is the full payment. So they are going to pay 36 times K. Plus, now, student from class B is 44, right? But are they going to pay maximum? No, because they have already paid 4 ringgit. So the full payment must minus 4 ringgit. Okay, multiply by 44 students. So the total amount on that day will be 400. Okay, so we're going to expand this. So you get 36K plus 44K minus 44 times 4 would be 176. Okay, so 44 plus 36 will get you 80. Okay, equals to 400 plus 176, you get 576. So K equals to 576 divided by 80, you will get RM 720. So we know that the maximum full payment would be 720. So how much does the students from class B have to pay? They have already paid 4 ringgit, right? So how much balance they have to pay? So the balance will be right there, balance payment for class B. Each of them lah. Okay, we are counting for each. So it's going to be 720 minus 4 ringgit. So they have to pay additional 320. Actually, 3 ringgit 20 cents. Okay, so this is your answer.